Second. Okay, we're live.
All right. Welcome, folks. Scott and I are back. So, today's topic, what we're going to talk about is visitors to the house when it comes down to your dogs or puppies in general. Whether it's a puppy or older dog, everyone has visitors to the house, and we want to talk about how to prepare for visitors to the house, what to do after the visit, and why even bother to train for visitor training when why even bother to train your dog for visitors coming over.
Yeah.
So you want to get your dog into a daily a regimen routine with having let me backtrack on that. So you want to get your dog into a routine right away, so they won't jump on visitors when they come into the home. So that's essentially why you want to train your dogs for when visitors come. So what you want to do is you want to prepare for when visitors come over. You want to start to ask yourself a few questions. So you want to ask yourself, when the doorbell rings and or someone knocks on the door, where will your puppy be? So whether it's in the crate area or confinement area, which means a room or something, or whether you're having them on leash coming to the door, you want to start to think about how you're going to prepare for this in advance and kind of what your dog's doing now. So if you can kind of piggyback off, like I said, what your dog's doing now. So if you already have your dog going to the crate, you can continue that. If you don't have them doing anything, you might want to just start to think about where you want them to be. Also, how will you introduce your dog or puppy to guests? Are you going to ask them to sit? Are you going to keep them on a leash, or are you going to have them go into a confinement area, wait till your guests settle, and then have them come back out? So what I would say to give you guys a little tip and advice of which one to choose, of course you can do all three, but if your puppy doesn't know how to sit, you is by starting off with having them on a leash. And then once you teach them sit, you can have them come to the door and then have them sit as well. If they don't know how to sit, you can always put them in the confinement area. I'm always a fan of the confinement area first, especially when puppies jump initially, just because it gives guests time to come in and settle down. The
Yeah.
puppy's in the confinement area, but they're also settling down as well. It's not so exciting once the guests are in there for 5 or 10 minutes, then you let the puppy or dog out. Then they're not jumping. So I always, lean towards that. But of course, it's your home. You know how to set up. You know the activity level of guests coming through. So choose whatever's best for you. Also, how will you reward your puppy for greeting guests politely? Will you offer them a treat? Will you allow them to mingle free? And so, what I tell my clients and stuff too, kind of a little tip here is leave treats by the door, leave treats all around the house, especially if you're having guests and you're training your dog in general, so that when guests come to the door, you can just go ahead and pass your guests a treat and they can give it to your dog or puppy when they're seated. Also, you can have them sit at the door first and then let them roam free and mingle. The only thing, like I told folks, I would caution them letting dogs mingle. If you do still have a jumping dog or puppy, if you're doing sit at the door and you know for a fact that after they do sit for like 5 seconds, they're going to start jumping again, you might want to not let them mingle and put them in some type of confinement area or leave them on a leash. But again, you know your dog and how they are in this situation, so choose accordingly. And also, think about what behaviors might be helpful for your dog. So, of course, sitting is helpful for meeting guests.
Yeah.
Also, downs are really, really helpful. Down and stays or sit and stays, because when you have your dog go into a down, it's a lot harder for them to jump from a down than a sit. So, if your dog knows down, or you want to start working on training with visitors, start teaching them down, stays, or sits and stays, so they can stay for a little bit more time when guests are entering the home. Also, what you want to do is you want to practice without guests. You don't want to make guests come over like, okay, this is the first time, let's go. Like if you have family in a home or, kids, practice with them first. If you're going to have your dog sit for guests, what you do, have like your kid or the husband or boyfriend knock on the door and practice the whole scenario, so that when real guests are coming, the dog's so used to it. Remember, dogs like structure and routines. You just want to
Yeah.
keep on going and practicing. Also, you want to invite friends or family over intentionally before you have just random guests coming over and say like, hey, we're practicing this. If they live down the street or close by, have them join in on the visitor training sequence, and then that will help out as well. So you can start off with one person, and then you can invite over a whole bunch of people. And at the same time, it's kind of like you're socializing your dog to other people.
True.
Oh, by training them to help visitors. Visitors coming to the house. So it's kind of working on two things at once. Okay. So that's all things you guys can do to prepare, but still there's more. So you want to think about after the visit. Okay.
Yeah.
So after your guests leave, you want to assess how the visit went. So the next time you either change some things, or if it went well, you can keep it the same. So you want to think, what did my puppy do well? So if you had them sit, did they sit well, or did they just sit for a second and run off? Do you want to switch around to have them do like a confinement thing? Also, what needs extra practice? So, like I said, did you have your puppy sit and it was only for 5 seconds? Maybe you need to work some more on the sit stays and build up some more duration so that you can sit better, or maybe you just want to switch to confinement training or having your puppy on a leash. So you want to start thinking about things like that. And also you want to think about what else you can do differently the next time. There's always room for improvement everywhere, anywhere. So you want to think about that in advance. What do you do for Archie when guests come over? Are things different now versus when he was like younger?
Yeah, when he was younger, we try to keep him on. We a lot of times we had him on leash.
Hmm.
We do stay, like you said, down just because there's more distance to travel to actually get up, and also gives us and the guests more reaction time when he's in a down. So we
Hmm.
would do that. Nowadays, he's a little bit better. It depends on who's coming over. With everything going on, we don't. It's mostly families. So like with my parents, we let him kind of just greet. He gets excited. He'll bounce around, but he doesn't jump anymore, really.
Good. Yep.
And he's actually developed a habit where from our door to our bedroom is basically like a straight alley hallway type of thing. And
Okay.
so he'll greet them, and then he'll sprint to the bed, jump on the bed, and wait for them to come to the bed to greet him.
Yep.
And so that's worked out really well.
Good. Yep.
He gets super excited on the bed, but he will let them come to him type of thing. If they take too long, he'll go back to them and then run back to the bed. But so that
Hmm.
works really well. For any new people, he's pretty like I would say sometimes he can be standoffish, so he can sort
Yeah.
of especially even if we give him a treat, he can sort of, especially indoors. I find more indoors than outdoors. Because outdoors he can sort of sense if we know the person, if
Exactly.
they're
Yep.
not strangers to us, if we know them, he can sense it, and then he's a little more comfortable to say it's okay, Archie, it's okay. Then we can
Hmm.
give him a treat. But if it's someone in the house that's just coming in, or like my parents' house, especially we found like taller guys, like over 6 feet,
Yes.
and
That's a
so
big one too.
he'll back up.
Height.
Yeah, he won't even jump. It's more about him backing up and sort of never really wanting to interact with that person. So even though we would give him treats, and
Mhm.
sometimes he won't even go for the treat. But at that point, we're just like, it's okay.
Exactly. Yep.
I'm
Follow the
sorry, but
dog's
he's not
lead.
gonna. As cute as he is, you're not gonna be able to interact with him right now.
Mhm.
And we
Yep.
just sort of go with that. So it's kind of it depends on what situation it is, but it's sort of
Mhm.
reading him, reading the situation, and then just also I find because in our condo we have him new people meet him in the elevator and like kids sometimes, and so a lot of times people want to pat him on his head, and
Oh
nobody likes
yeah.
that. So
Mhm.
dogs don't like
Mhm.
it. People don't like it. If you're think about someone patting on you on your head, you don't like it. Dogs are the same. I found, and so
Exactly.
if we have a kid and they're kind of like you can tell they like dogs and they want to sort of engage with Archie, we'll tell him it's okay, just pat him on his chest because he's pretty broad chested, and
Yep.
so we just pat him on his chest and that's okay, and he'll sit there and he'll sort of like let them do that and he's okay with it. The
Good.
head thing kind
Yeah.
of like he doesn't react to it. You can just tell he's not like a fan of it.
Yeah,
So
he's like, whatever. Yep. And like I said,
yeah,
always follow your dog's lead. And it's okay if they don't want to meet visitors
yeah,
or if you don't want to meet. And speaking of which, I know folks are busy. Just a little training tip. Um, as visitors are coming and going and you don't have time to train, you can go ahead and put your puppy in a crate or
yeah,
a confinement area with some chew toys to chew on. You don't want to ever give them an opportunity to practice bad habits. The more they practice them, the harder it is to kind of train out or fix.
yeah,
So if you don't have time, I always tell people just put a leash by the door, leash them, or if you
yeah,
don't have time to do that, just go ahead and put them in a confinement area as soon as you hear the doorbell rings. Far as troubleshooting, if you're having trouble with your visitor routine, you want to be ready to reward your dog more frequently for something more easier. For example, if you're asking your dog to sit stay when the doorbell goes off, instead you can ask them for a quick sit, and then you can release them to go say hi to someone. So you can just make it like set them up for success if you know that they're not able to sit and stay for longer. So just little things like that will help you prepare for when visitors come to the house. So I hope you guys got some really good tips on how to prepare for when visitors come in, what to look for afterwards, and how to set yourself up for the next successful situation. I hope you guys really enjoyed this live. Scott and I will be back next week with another great topic.
Yeah. If you guys have any questions about this, especially the people that are watching the New England Dog Owners Support Group, definitely let us know in the comments. If there's anything, other topics you want us to cover, definitely let us know in the comments or in the group. We'd love to see that. If you're watching on YouTube, the links below to join the New England Dog Owners Support Group, whether you're in New England or like in the surrounding area. Great support, and hop in there, join whenever you can. And we're going to give out more content like this, exclusive content to the group. So definitely check us out. And if you're in the group, we'd love to hear back, love to give feedback, questions, suggestions. Hit us up, let us know what you're looking for. We're here to give you value and just help however we can, for sure. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Cool.
All right,
everyone. Have a good week. We'll see you.